Please stand with the rest of us, and let's sing this song to start off with. Here we go. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, I say, it's alright. Little darling, it's in our awful lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, yeah, here comes the sun, I say, it's alright. Little darling, the smiles returning to their faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, yeah, here comes the sun, I say, it's alright. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Yeah, sun, 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 here it comes. One more of those. Sun, 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 here it comes. Little darling, I feel that ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Yeah. Here comes the sun. Yeah. Here comes the sun. I say it's alright. Sun, sun, sun. Sun, sun, sun. Here it comes. Yeah. Sun, sun, sun. Here it comes. Yeah. Sun, sun, sun. Here it comes. One more. Sun, sun, sun. Here it comes.
Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. Got a couple more coming in. Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Tucson. I'm so happy to see all these wonderful smiling faces today. My name is Morgana. I'm your host this morning. How y'all doing? Yeah. All right, let's take a moment to get grounded, centered in our space, in our physical beings. Let's take a breath in. Inhale peace. Hold. Release tension. So anything that is not here now and outside. We are all a unique expression of the divine source. The one life, that life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is our life now. If you are setting an intention to experience a happier life, better health, more abundant living, you're in the right place. Know that wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome. And you are among friends. Okay, so I'm sure everybody has their phones on silent, ignore, disturb, or do not disturb, airport. All right. So as you most of you probably know, it's a 20-minute meditation every Sunday before services in Annex Room 3. That one. And I hope everyone has a copy of the bulletin this morning. I'm not going to read it word for word. Just going to touch on a few key things. We have a renaming, not a new reforming or change, but a renaming of what used to be known as Mastermind. It is now Intention Keepers. If you are ready to be an intention keeper, you are welcome to join on Zoom, first and third Sundays of the month. The information is there in the bulletin. And on your newsletter, I believe, as well. And quick note at the very bottom, whenever you are in prayer or meditation, send one up for Barbara Arissa.
Yeah.
She recently had a stroke and she's in care, and we want to affirm the best health for her or something better, whatever that is. So if we'll all turn to the front of our bulletins, and together we'll read A Spiritual Alternative. The Center for Spiritual Living Tucson is an inclusive, vibrant, spiritual community focusing on personal connection through our beliefs, principles, and the practices of the science of mind.
In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to walk through every fear. One spirit is in this very room, and there's quite enough love, and there's quite enough power to open every heart. One spirit is in this very room, this very room, in this very room, in this very room. Repeat after me. In this very room, in this very room. There it is. In this very room, 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 keep saying, in this very room, 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 there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough hope, and there's quite enough power to change every heart. One spirit is in this very room. This very room. There it is. In this very room. In this very room. Let me sing it. In this very room. In this very room. In this very room. In this very room.
Very sweet. Wonderful. Join us this week. 3 minutes. 5.
following this fading sound of the bell. Continue to turn inward. Following the breath, we become present to this moment of now. And in this moment of now, I know that there is only one thing going on, and that is absolutely everything. The spirit, that one divine creative intelligence, God, by any name, is all that there is. And we meet this allness in this moment of now. And so we come together knowing that each of us is this divine, beautiful expression of this one. That we are unique individual expressions. Because if everything was the same, it would be so boring. And so we celebrate diversity. We celebrate our individual uniqueness. We celebrate our light. Knowing that our light does not diminish any other lights, and in allowing our light to shine, others shine brightly too. And so we come together this morning in joy. In joy for our beloved community. In joy for remembering the truth about who we are. And so I know that this time together is blessed. I'm grateful for our musicians. I'm grateful for Hazel for driving over to just share her deliciousness that we've been enjoying all month. I'm grateful for everyone who says yes to this center as we continue to reimagine what and who Centers for Spiritual Living Tucson is and will be. Knowing that it's already imagined in the mind of God, we just joyfully step into it. I release this word with gratitude, knowing it's already happening, because that's the way Spirit works. So we release it by saying, and so it is.
So it is.
So lovely to see everyone this morning, and welcome back. Good to see you. So our prayers are, you want to move back, Jane wants to move back, and so we are just knowing that the right and perfect timing and home and everything is right now unfolding for you, and you will be back with us in the perfect right time.
Thank you.
All right, and you may have noticed we're trying apparently somebody asked, why is Michael relegated to the corner? It was never a relegation, it was just the way it unfolded, so we're trying something a little different, and we'll see how it works out. See, we have this other thing that on Zoom, Chris is blocked by the stand, so we continue to know that South Craycroft is moving forward, and that it can be and is already, and it will be no longer church in a box, which I think is a first for CSL Tucson. I don't know how far back in their history, but no longer church in a box. All right, well, that's enough announcements out of me, because I'm straying from our spiritual thought this morning, which is our final one from Hazel. And so I'll read this, and then we'll read through the affirmations. A possibilitarian is not someone who ignores facts. A possibilitarian sees beyond them. To be a possibilitarian is to stand in the field of infinite potential and declare, separation is a story, not a truth. The possibilitarian understands that consciousness precedes condition. Change the consciousness and the conditions must reorganize. To let go of separation is to reclaim our shared authorship. We would dare to dream bold dreams, not from egoic ambition, but from collective awakening. We would see education as empowerment, leadership as steward, diversity as divine artistry. And together, dreaming from that awareness, there is no ceiling to what can be born. When we realize the illusion that we are isolated fragments competing for limited good, something extraordinary happens. When we release the illusion that we are isolated fragments competing for limited good, something extraordinary happens. Our imagination expands, our compassion deepens, our creativity multiplies. To be a possibilitarian is to live as if unity is real, because it is. Right, and I'm going to read each sentence, and then we'll repeat it together, one sentence at a time. I release every illusion of separation.
I release every illusion of separation.
I am one with the infinite field of possibility.
I am one with the infinite field of possibility.
What blesses one blesses all.
What blesses one blesses all.
Together we dream, create, and rise in unity.
Together we dream, create, and rise in unity.
I was at Reverend Ronnie's memorial yesterday, and it was beautiful to see so much support for that wonderful person. And one of the things that she always talked about was being a possibilitarian, and we have that in our spiritual thought today. Reverend Ronnie also liked the song "Angel from Montgomery." And one of the things that Charles, her husband, talked about was that he felt like she was a wing repairer, one who not only was an angel in her life, but helped to heal. And I know that she helped me on more than one occasion. Anyone else here that felt blessed by her? Yeah. So, as a sort of a tribute, I've been singing this song for many, many years. And there's a slow version of it that's done by the man who wrote it, John Prine, but I have heard it sung in lots of different ways. Bonnie Raitt did a great job with this song, and Dave Matthews Band. So I'm going to kind of put all of those three together and do my thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and... I'm an old woman, named after my mother. My old man is another child that's grown old. Your dreams were lightning, thunder was desire. This old house would have burned down a long time ago. Make me an angel, flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to. Even this living state, I'll go. I was a young girl, had me a cowboy. Wasn't much to look at, just a free rambling man. That was a long time, and no matter how I tried, the years just flew by like a broken down dam. Yeah. Make me an angel, eyes from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to. Even some living to stay hardly old. There's flies in the kitchen, I can hear them in there buzzing, but I ain't done nothing since I woke up today. How the hell can a person go to work in the morning, come home in the evening with nothing to say? Oh, make me an angel, eyes from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to. Even stay hard way to go. Hard way to go. To believe in this living is just hard way to go. Here you go, guys.
So it is my great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker today. Reverend Ronnie asked her to speak today last fall sometime when she and Sabrina moved their licenses over here. They are now in the process of moving their licenses back to their home center of Prescott. So she drove over this morning for us.
Yeah.
Thank you. And they've recently had some leadership changes, and her community has asked her to step in and kind of do what I've been doing and help grow and heal as they move into their next expression of CSL Prescott. So we are just going to know they are now our sister community as far as I'm concerned. So a brief introduction for Hazel. She has been a religious science practitioner with the Centers for Spiritual Living for more than 14 years, offering spiritual coaching, insight, lovingly remembering for you until you remember for yourself your oneness with God. She was raised in two faith traditions. Hazel's father was a devout Quaker and her mother a dedicated Christian Scientist. A dual spiritual foundation she deeply blesses. From Quakerism, she learned that God is her friend. From Christian Science, she learned that sacred practice of standing guard at the door of her thoughts. Please welcome Hazel Bowman.
Oh, good morning. Oh, morning. What a delight it is to finally be here today, just basking in your love and your light. I can just feel this energy. So you bless me with my being here in your presence. I just love the home office because every month they set forward a theme. And this month's theme is what if? I love that. What if? And this week they decided that the topic should be being a possibilitarian. Well, I loved that because I believe in possibilities. I just didn't know that that made me a possibilitarian. But doesn't that sound impressive? Doesn't it though? I just love that. And so for me, being that impressive word, that whole possibilitarian, being a possibilitarian to me means to see God, to see divine life as it truly is. Now, I'll be candid. We each have different views of what God truly is. All right. It kind of reminds me of one of my favorite stories of a Sunday school teacher who was walking around the classroom looking at what each of the children were drawing, and she stopped at a table where a little girl was studiously working on her picture. And the Sunday school teacher stopped at that table and she said, "What are you drawing?" And the little girl replied, "I am drawing a picture of God." And the Sunday school teacher told her, she said, "But no one knows what God looks like." And without missing a beat, the little girl replied, "Well, they will in a minute." Absolutely. And so I love that vision that little girl had. And best yet, she did not live from any sense of limitation. You know, there is a vision that lives within us, not as fantasy, not as wishful thinking, but as a deep interior knowing. Imagine where we remember in every moment that we are each the living spirit, that we are each the living breath of that one spirit, woven together in a tapestry of infinite worth. No one left out, no one excluded, no one outside that circle of belonging. Now, what if this isn't spiritual poetry? What if it is spiritual physics? What if oneness is not an inspiring idea, but the fundamental structure of reality? It's not whether oneness is true. It's whether we practice it when it matters the most. Several years ago, in my early years as a practitioner, there was a woman in a hospital. The monitors blinked. The machines hummed. That air carried that quiet weight that only hospital rooms seem to hold. The diagnosis had come quickly. The future, once so certain, now felt fragile. Family members came in and out of the room. Some cried. Some tried to be strong. Some avoided saying what they were most afraid of. And in the middle of it all, this woman felt something rise within her. Not fear, not even grief, but a question. What does oneness look like here? Not in a sanctuary, not in meditation. Here. She realized that she could contract, that she had two choices. One, she could contract into, why is this happening to me? Or she could expand into, how can love move through me right here? So she chose something simple. She began speaking words of gratitude out loud. She thanked the nurses by name. She blessed the machines. She whispered to her loved ones, you are not alone. We are held. She wasn't denying the diagnosis. She wasn't pretending that it wasn't hard. She was practicing oneness in the presence of uncertainty. And something subtle but unmistakable shifted in that room. The tension softened. People began sharing memories rather than just their fears. Laughter broke through the tears. Even the medical staff commented that the room felt different. The circumstances did not magically reverse, but the field changed. Love became more present than fear. And here is the revelation. Oneness did not remove the challenge. It removed the isolation. When we practice oneness in moments of real vulnerability, in hospital rooms, in grief, or in uncertainty, we discover something extraordinary. Unity is not fractal. It does not disappear when life gets hard. It becomes more visible. And if oneness can hold in a hospital room, it can hold in a boardroom. It can hold in a courtroom. It can hold in a divided nation. Oneness is not just a beautiful spiritual idea, but the living reality of our existence. It's not something that we are trying to create. It is something that we are learning to recognize. Dr. Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of religious science, reminded us that thought is never passive. That he described consciousness as mind in action. That every thought we hold becomes part of the creative activity of the universe. That means imagination is not escapism. Imagination is participation. When we imagine a world healed by love, we are not daydreaming. We are aligning with the creative intelligence that is forever seeking expression through us. Because imagination is the rehearsal for reality. Athletes visualize the race before they run it. Musicians hear the music before they play it. In the same way, spiritual communities such as this one here must see the world before they can live it into being. That is why imagination is actually a spiritual discipline. We don't merely hope for a better world. We feel it. We see it. We walk through it in consciousness until that inner picture becomes so vivid that our lives begin to reorganize around it. Because the truth is this: every transformation in human history began first in the imagination of someone who could see beyond that present moment. If imagination awakens the vision, practice makes that vision real. It is one thing to imagine a world healed by love, but it is another thing to embody that love in small, unspectacular moments of daily life. This is where spiritual teaching moves from inspiration to transformation. Ernest Holmes taught us that the truth must be demonstrated, not merely believed, not admired, demonstrated. And demonstration happens in the living laboratory of our everyday lives. It happens in the grocery line, when patience replaces irritation. It happens when we choose to listen deeply instead of just preparing our rebuttal to the one who is talking to us. It happens when we speak about someone who disagrees with us and we still remember their humanity. Each encounter becomes an opportunity to remember there is only one life here. And perhaps the most radical spiritual practice of all is this: to refuse to let anyone fall outside our circle of compassion. Not because it is easy, but because it is true. And that is when something subtle yet powerful occurs. We begin to change the emotional climate around us. Kindness becomes contagious. Understanding begins to ripple outward. Understanding is what we begin to realize is our inherent nature of no differences. What seemed ordinary now becomes quietly revolutionary. And the world begins to shift, one interaction at a time. Now, when imagination gives us the vision and practice shapes our character, something extraordinary begins to happen. We become evidence. That's what happens. We become evidence that love is stronger than division. Evidence that cooperation is more powerful than competition. Evidence that a world that works for everyone is not an abstract ideal, but a living possibility. This is how transformation has always happened in human history. Not through mass agreement at first, but through people who decided to live the future before the world was ready for it. I want to repeat that because I think that's important. This is how transformation has always happened in human history. Not through mass agreement at first, but through people who decided to live the future before the world was ready for it. What if? What if? What if Martin Luther King didn't stand up? What if Rosa Parks didn't sit down? What if Malcolm didn't man up? What if Mandela didn't come to teach us? We are the ones that we have been waiting for, living from a deeper truth. And the deeper truth is this. We are not separate beings trying to survive on a fragile planet. We are expressions of one infinite life, discovering itself through billions of unique forms. When we remember this, something remarkable happens. Fear loses its grip. Generosity expands. Hope becomes practical. And suddenly, the vision we once envisioned no longer feels distant. It feels emerging. So, we arrive at this moment with a simple and yet profound realization. The world that we are longing for is not waiting out there somewhere in the distant future. It is waiting within us. Life meets us exactly where we meet it. So imagine what becomes possible when a community of people such as yourself begin to meet life with love. What becomes possible when we live as though every being carries that same divine spark. The world changes. Not because someone else fixed it, but because we become the place where healing begins. That is how transformation has always unfolded. A few people begin to see it. A few people begin to live differently. And suddenly what once seemed impossible now becomes inevitable. Live as though the world you imagine is already here. Each day just choose one simple action that reflects the world that you believe in. A genuine smile. Maybe speak some words that perhaps uplift or extend kindness without condition. Protect your vision, not by explaining it or defending it, just live it. Trust that each loving choice is a seed that has been planted in that field of possibility, already growing into a world that works for everyone. As Ernest Holmes wrote in The Science of Mind, all the power of the universe is with you. Feel it, know it, and then act like it is true. So let us leave here today with a sacred commitment to be a possibilitarian, to imagine boldly, to practice compassion in the ordinary moments of life, to become living evidence that love is stronger than division. And if we do this consistently, courageously, and together, something beautiful will happen. The vision that we hold in our hearts will no longer feel like a dream. It will begin to feel like reality. The world that works for everyone is not waiting to be created. It is waiting to be lived and it begins with us. And so let's take that into prayer. And let us just turn within, knowing that truth. For recognizing the one life, the one presence, the one infinite intelligence that lives, moves, and breathes through all creation. This presence is not distant. It is not separate. It is the very life that lives us now. I know that this divine intelligence is expressing as every person in this room, as every being on this planet, as the very fabric of the universe itself. There is only one life, and that life is full. That life is sacred. That life is forever unfolding in wisdom, compassion, and with love. So knowing this, we affirm together that the world that works for everyone is not merely a dream held by hopeful hearts. It is the natural expression of the divine, seeking to reveal itself through humanity. We open ourselves to that revelation. We allow love to guide our thoughts. We allow compassion to shape our actions. We allow wisdom to inform our choices. Where there has been division, understanding emerges. Where there has been fear, courage awakens. Where there has been scarcity, the flow of divine sufficiency is rebuilt. Each of us becomes a living instrument of peace. Each of us becomes a vessel through which kindness, generosity, and justice find expression. And as we live from this awareness, the world begins to reflect the truth that we hold within, that all life is interconnected, all beings are worthy, and love is the deepest reality of existence. With deep gratitude for this sacred moment, for this community, and for the infinite presence that sustains us always, we release this prayer into the creative law of the universe, trusting its perfect unfolding. And we anchor it by saying, and so it is.
And so it is.
And namaste.
Namaste.
Oh, thank
Yeah. Let's get centered in this present moment. So repeat after me. Right here.
Right here.
Right now.
Right now.
Right on.
Right on.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Right here.
Right here.
Right now.
Right now.
Right on.
Right on.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Yesterday is gone. And tomorrow's a dream. This moment is all I have, all that I see. Right here, right now, right on, and so it is. Right here, right now, right on, and so it is.
Thanks.
Let's thank Hazel again for coming over. And just with that gratitude in our hearts, I just want to thank each and every one of you for supporting Centers for Spiritual Living Tucson. And we do have our donation basket in the back. You can give online. You can give through text to tithe. All of that information is right here in your bulletin for you to give. Anytime your heart is just That's overflowing abundance, just affirming the overflow, whatever that looks like to you. We are going to move forward with the membership class. So if you haven't put your name on the list is back there. Sign up. It will, my plan, my vision, and I actually had a dream last night of moving the giant, yes?
Anyone who is watching online can email the
Office.
if they're interested in the membership class.
Yes. Thank you, Janet. That was, in case you didn't hear online, if you're interested and you're watching this later, contact our office and we will make sure to make it work for everyone. So my plan right now, and I was going to say, I had a dream that the giant bookcase that's in the middle of the classroom right now got moved to the side against a wall. So I'm just going to, and it shrunk. So I'm asking that it just goes.
And I had a dream that I got a carpenter to come in there and cut it up.
Whoa!
No, we'll
Because
give it
it's
away.
too heavy to move.
Yeah.
What's the problem is it's too heavy to move. So and nobody wants it.
Well,
So I am
we're just
claiming that it's getting sawed up and carried out.
one way or another, we are blessing the giant bookcase. Because what we resist persists, right? So we're blessing the giant bookcase gets either moved or donated out. It's out of there. So, as well as our wall. So, back to membership class. My plan is to have it in the classroom. Because again, knowing that bookcase is moving out of the center of that room. And I did talk to Tyler this morning. If we're in the middle of dust and construction, we can have the class here. Okay, so either way, we have space for the class. So we're going to do that on the 19th at noon. So there's an hour to get lunch if we don't go, either way.
The 19th of April.
Of April.
Yeah.
Yes. And we'll be looking at another community meeting. I touched base with Reverend Nan Bankston about center versus teaching chapter. She had some words to say, so I'm going to bullet point those, and those will be in the newsletter this week because we're still processing. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And just affirming that everything is unfolding beautifully for Centers for Spiritual Living Tucson. Let's affirm our giving statement, our abundance statement. Divine love as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive.
And
I am prosperous now, and so it is.
Please stand up and let's sing this song, Yes, There is Peace on Earth. Yes, there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was sent to me. With God as our center, united all we all walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is all now. With every step I take, this is my joy now. To take each moment and live each moment with Jesus eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me.